Assalamualaikum and good evening, everyone. I think everyone is here. Before we start, let's begin with Kitab Al-Fatiha. Let's start our meeting. First of all, I would like to take a moment to welcome all of you for your participation today. There should be another member, which is Mr. Hamdan, but I am afraid he can't be with us today as he has an urgent meeting to attend to in Johor. Well, let me first explain the purpose of the meeting. As we know, the pandemic COVID-19 outbreak has made many workers lose their jobs and become jobless. So our company has taken the initiative by planning to organize a seminar where it can help jobless people get back to work. So the purpose of this meeting is to discuss the update of the seminar, unemployment job seeker versus job creator. First, let's go over the minutes of our last meeting. Miss Izzah, will you read it for us?
Yeah, sure. Okay, here are the minutes of our last meeting. Let's go over them quickly. Okay, 4 people attended the previous meeting and 2 were absent due to personal reasons. That looks fine. The addressed items had been discussed smoothly. Next, matters arising. We have dealt with the caterer from Aladdin Catering Services in Berhad and choose a few servings from them. The caterer had received excellent ratings from the customers based on their feedback. Further discussion will be contacted by the department in charge.
Thank you, Miss Izzah. So, do we have any amendment?
Sorry to interrupt, Mr. Khalil. I feel there is a grammatical error in choose in the sentence. It's supposed to be and chosen a few servings from them.
One more grammatical error in excellent in the sentence, Mr. Khalil. It's supposed to be had received excellent rating.
Okay, I will take note of all the amendments. Next, would someone move that the minutes of the last meeting be accepted?
Yes, Mr. Khalil. I am here as a representative to announce that our minutes of the previous meeting to be approved.
Thank you, Mr. Syawal. Okay, let's proceed. Is anyone intent on raising some matters?
Definitely, Mr. Chairman. Well, as we all know, the food supplier for our seminar is Aladdin Catering Services in Berhad. They deal with high quality of raw material, which requires extra care to A&J catering and events for our program. I've done some research on it and found out that this catering also use high quality of
I agree with Ms. Aina's points.
That is a brilliant idea, Miss Aina. I look forward to it. Okay, as I explained about our purpose today, so let's begin with the financial report. Mr. Syawal, would you like to start?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. For financial reasons, I have decided that we will hold this session at the Kuala Selangor Sport Complex. For a single day hire, an estimate 2,200 ringgit is required. This cost of payment, in my opinion, is really reasonable because there are numerous conveniences such as air conditioning and enough chair and table fittings. Furthermore, the hall is rather large and adequate for the number of people that will attend our seminar later.
Thank you, Mr. Syawal. Next, Miss Hajar.
All right, thank you, Mr. Khalil. As we all know, the invitation panel for each slot is different. The first slot is outplacement counselling, and we will invite Professor Dr. Suradi Salim, Because he is a professor and he has a PhD, the payment per hour is 350 ringgit and the total payment is 700 ringgit for 2 hours. However, I already negotiated with him and he agreed to compromise the payment, which is 300 ringgit per hour, and the total payment is 600 ringgit. For the self-care strategy slot, I invited Dr. Nur Amira Yatim, a psychologist and a motivational expert. Her payment is 240 ringgit per hour, so the total for 2 hours of the slot is 480 ringgit. The third slot, I invited Mr. Andika Putra, a successful businessman and also a famous public figure in Malaysia. For the startup online business slot, I have contacted him with the date that we discussed at the last meeting. At first, he said RM200 ringgit per hour for the payment. Later, after the discussion, Alhamdulillah, he agreed to not having any payment. So the total payment for the panel is 1,080 ringgit. For the invitation participants, we have set 100 ringgit for each participant, including modules and food. That's all from me, Mr. Khalil.
Thank you, Ms. Hajar. Next, Ms. Farah.
Thank you, Mr. Khalil. Alright. We need a wide screen projector and projector to be used in slot 1, 2, and 3. The wide screen will cost 230 ringgit and the high dimensions projector will cost 1,000 ringgit. For self-care, we will prepare 2 sheets A4 and 2 colored pens for each participant. The stationaries for the activity in slot 2. It will cost 2 ringgit per person and the total will be 600 ringgit. Fittings for slot 3. We will need a brochure about our company's business partner. The printed brochure will cost 3 ringgit per person, but I managed to get a discount which is 80 cents per person. The final amount is 240 ringgit. The total cost for the fittings in these 3 slots is 2,070 ringgit, Mr. Khalil.
I see. Thank you, Ms. Farah. Next, Ms. Aina.
Alright, for food and beverage, we will have 3 times. First, morning tea, then lunch, and lastly, tea time. I've dealt with which is Villa, and she will have chocolate bun with milk. It will cost us only 600 ringgit for 100 participants for the morning tea. Next, we will have rice with ayam masak merah mixed with a drink for lunch. It will cost 1,500. And last, we will have curry puff with hot tea for tea time, and it costs 600 ringgit for 300 participants. So the total cost for food is 2,700 ringgit, 300 participants.
Thank you, Ms. Aina.
That's all from me.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Aina. Lastly, Ms. Izzah.
Okay, as for me, for multimedia financial status, we need a total of 580 ringgit for photographers and the banners. First and foremost, the cost for the banners is 400 ringgit. There are 3 buntings and a banner altogether. I have dealt with the supplier from Print Experts KS and Berhad, which cost RM50 each and 250 respectively after 20% of discount. Furthermore, I think we need to hire 2 photographers as we don't have enough crew in multimedia. So the photographers agreed and the cost was 20 ringgit per hour for each person. Okay, the total cost for the 9 hours program is 180. Therefore, we need a total of 400 ringgit for banners and 180 ringgit for hiring photographers. That's all from me. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Izzah. Okay, let's move on to the next agenda item, which is the updates of this seminar. I would like to give the floor to Ms. Farah to start with the seminar's activity updates.
Thank you, Mr. Khalil. We will launch a program that will benefit a lot of people who have a financial crisis. The program will have 3 slots and each slot will only take 2 hours and interspersed with a break of 30 minutes only. From 8 a.m. till 10 a.m., we will run slot 1, which is about outplacement counseling. This slot will explain to the participants about how important the decision they make to build their career. Not only that, participants will get a module containing information and detailed explanations about outplacement counseling. Outplacement counseling will benefit people who want to change their career path or who have been terminated from their job. Participants will have a 30 minutes break and continue slot 2 at 10:30 a.m. From 10:30 a.m. till 12:30 p.m., we will have slot 2, which is about self-care strategies. This slot will explain ways on how to take good care of ourselves. This will help people who look likely about the importance of self-care. In this slot also, our teams will guide and explain towards participants the strategies. At 12:30 till 2 p.m., participants will have a break. Muslim participants can perform their Zuhur prayer and eating lunch while break. The climax of the program is at 2 p.m. till 4 p.m. The last slot will be an amazing and most awaited by participants, which is the Startup Online Business slot. Our teams will give the chosen participant who want to build a new business. A startup business capital is for participants who will run a business related with our company's investments and our company's partners such as Mahawangsa Enterprise Sdn Bhd. The capital given is approximately 3,500 ringgit per person. We will have participants consent about this capital and they have to sign up the form that says they agreed to the contract. The contract is not for threatening participants, but it is to ensure that the capital given is not misused. At 4 p.m. till 5 p.m., we will have a closing ceremony. That's all, Mr. Khalid. Thank you.
I think all of us agree about the activities. Thank you, Ms. Farah. Next, Ms. Hajar, regarding the update on the invitation participants and panels for this seminar.
Alright, Mr. Khalil. For invitation participants, our target is 300 people. But so far, the number of people who have made a payment of 100 ringgit is 270 people all over Malaysia. So we have 30 more vacancies left for the participants. Perhaps the publicity unit can make more ads on social media to fulfill the quota of participants. For the first slot panel, we have switched from Professor Dr. Hasli to Professor Dr. Suradi Salim due to personal issues. I propose Professor Dr. Suradi on the recommendation of Professor Dr. Hasli himself because Prof. Dr. Suradi is his acquaintance and also a professor in counseling psychology at the University of Malaya. His expertise is in the development of psychology, interventional psychology, and career counseling. Based on my research, he has published a lot of academic writing in various publications. So what is your opinion?
Yes, I agree with your suggestion. After all, the guest is also an expert and he may be able to give his best to the participant during the seminar program later.
I'm sorry, Miss Hajar. I suppose that you are right, but let's look at it from another angle. I think we can replace him with Professor Datin Sapura, who is a lecturer from USIM. As for me, she can deliver her speech in more effective and interesting way compared to Professor Dr. Suradi, who has lack of experience as a speaker, even though he has published a lot of academic writings. Furthermore, career counseling is her expertise and she even has her own consultant company. She is one of the top speakers for counseling in Malaysia as she has been invited as a panel in many events. Also, she has her own podcast on Spotify about giving tips and techniques for jobless employment. Hence, I am very sure that Prof. Sapura is way better as a speaker rather than Prof. Dr. Suradi.
I agree with Ms. Izzah's suggestion. In choosing a panel, I think Prof. Sapora should be a suitable panel for our seminar. Ms. Hajar, can you handle it?
Alright, Mr. Khalil, I will try my best to contact her and proceed to discuss this matter.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Hajar, for the updates. Next, Mr. Syawal, please give an update on the seminar's venue.
Alright, Mr. Khalil. I have met with Encik Ismail and worked out the detail for our seminar at the Kuala Selangor Sport Complex Hall. and he was ecstatic that we had reserved the space. I also believe that the location is important and make it easy for the participant in our seminar program to attend because there is ample parking and a comfortable surrounding at there.
Since there are no objections, let's proceed. Thank you, Mr. Syawal. Next, let's hear the updates about foods and beverages for the seminar by Miss Aina.
Okay, so far we will have 3 meal times as discussed. For morning tea, we will have a break for half an hour, which is from 10 a.m. until 10:30 a.m. Next, we will have a break from 12:30 p.m. until 2 p.m. for lunch, and for Muslim participants, they will perform prayer. And we'll have tea time after the seminar finish. Actually, at first I suggested we will have fried noodles for morning tea, but due to the relatively short break time, I switched to a menu that was easier to divide in that short time so that all the participants were not in a hurry to catch up on time. And for lunch, I suggested having a buffet since there are more food options. But the caterer said to have packaged food because it is easier for them to prepare the food and bake. So what do you guys think? Is it better with my idea or their idea?
That's exactly the way I feel. Chocolate bun and mineral water are nice for participants due to the short time break. To add on, I prefer we should provide a cup of coffee or tea for participants that can be refilled on that short time break so that they will feel fresh and excited to continue the next slot. And for lunch, I think a buffet is a great idea because participants can freely choose the variety of food according to their taste. Just to remind, if we prefer a buffet for lunch, all the crockery should be provided and included in the financial report as utensils expenses.
I agree entirely with Miss Aina and Miss Hajar. The menu is a good choice. Buffet for lunch also a good choice because it will be more organized and easy for participants to choose their foods.
Seems like many of us agree with Miss Aina's suggestion. Thank you, Miss Aina. For the multimedia updates, let's hear it from Miss Izzah.
Okay, so far we have advertised our program through social media networking, which is Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. I received so many questions from the participants all over Malaysia. Also, we have an official channel on Telegram for them to keep on track with our updates and spread the information widely. Okay, recently my team and I have been designing banners and posters using Adobe Photoshop and Adobe Illustrator. We have a bunch of them. Later, I will collect them all and ask for your criticisms and feedback. Okay, furthermore, me and my team are in discussion about creating merchandise for our programs such as water bottle, jersey or towels for the participants. So what say you?
I see what you mean, but don't you think creating merchandise such as water bottles, jerseys, and others will cost us more money and time as we have 300 participants? So from my view, I think gifts for the panelists since they volunteered to join our program.
I am completely agree with Miss Aina because it will make our budget for this program become expensive. I'm sorry, Miss Izzah, I need to reject your proposal for the merchandise. Anyway, thank you, Miss Izzah, for the updates. So we have finished the update of the seminar, which was presented by members who were in charge. For the last agenda item, which is any other businesses, I'd like to add something concerning our workplace environment. I think we should rearrange the employees' work tables to ensure that the working environment is more conducive and organized. What do you all think?
Yes, Mr. Khalil. I think I agree with you. I suggest for us to enlarge the space in our office or add a new room for employees. This is due to the fact that the more space we have, the more comfortable the environment we may have.
I'm sorry, but I disagree with the suggestion from Mr. Syawal. This is because our company needs to spend more money to reconstruct our office. But I think rearranging the employees' work tables should be enough, and also we need to improve the natural lighting in the office so that the employees are always in a positive mood and energetic.
I think I agree with Ms. Farah idea because in order to take care of our company employees' well-being, we also need to spend our financial well. But I also think suggestion from Mr. Syawal is great, but it costs a lot to do it. By the way, thank you both of you for the suggestion. So let's go around the table if anyone want to add some business. Ms. Hajar,
No, Mr. Khalil.
Ms. Izzah,
No, I'm done. Thank you.
Mr. Syawal,
No, Mr. KHALIL, thank you.
Ms. Aina,
Thank you, Mr. Khalil.
and lastly, Ms. Farah.
No, thank you, Mr. Khalil.
Okay, if there's nothing else, we shall end here. Thank you for your attendance and participation. So let's close our meeting with Tasbih Kafarah and Surah Al-As. Thank you.